Welcome to Los Angeles. And if you hadn't noticed, Michael and his co-founder Felix are pretty bold. So I still don't know how they made their way to me, but as soon as they did, it was a quick yes, because they are also great storytellers. And I thought that what they were attempting to do, and this is proof that they have done it, was really nothing short of revolutionary. And it happened at a time when I'm still raising my kids. I have 3 daughters, but when my oldest daughter was going through early days of high school, and I was seeing her use Apex, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how archaic is this? Like, why even do it? And that was kind of the pitch. It's like, we can do it better. We can do it with storytelling. We want to be the Netflix of education. And I believed it. And I also brought a few others to help write some of the first early checks. And I'm super proud of that. And I have always been very supportive. Kind of like when you launch your kids, even though I really had nothing to do except just give them a little bit of wind behind their back and some belief. So welcome to LA. This is still the storytelling capital of the world, at least the way we do it with audiovisual. I'll go very quickly about my career, but more importantly, what I'm doing now, just to kind of frame it, and then we can open it up for some Q&A. I see a Tocayo there. That's good. That's good. Same name. For those that don't speak Spanish, I'm originally from Argentina. I grew up here in Los Angeles, then went to Penn, as Michael said. And I started in this industry right after school. And in 2021, I was blessed to sell the company that I had started to Fox Entertainment. And currently, I'm overseeing all of the content creation for Fox, all 3 unscripted content, so dramas and comedies. Unscripted, things like Gordon Ramsay and the content that we're making there with him, Masked Singer, things like that. And then animation, which is the house that still does Bob's Burgers and things like that I'm sure a lot of your students watch. Things like we have a primetime show now called Crapopolis, which is all about Greek mythology in an adult animation kind of way. So I've been at the heart of storytelling and finding ways for creative talent to get their stories out there and to do it in a sustainable way, and that's been my career. And now I'm blessed to be able to empower a super team and do it under an umbrella of an organization that's looking to reinvent itself, because most of the assets of Fox were sold to Disney in 2019. So I'm part of the rebuild of this organization, and I'm having fun with it. And again, the cross-section of storytelling and the importance of storytelling, I don't think I have to tell. I'm assuming all of you are educators or clearly close to the educational process. And storytelling is, as far as I'm concerned, the oldest way of teaching. And that's how stories were passed on and how education happened, even as early days. And it's just, how do we evolve what the audience now wants, what our kids are accustomed to, how they take information, how to best engage with them. And I think, Subject's doing a phenomenal job with that, and I think it's important to meet students where they're at, and make it engaging and make it fun and make it entertaining for them. So that's why I'm here. And I'd love to take any questions from anybody. That is not planted. It really isn't. But she's not shy. Yeah.
From your side of things, right, since you're behind it, helping with the script come to life and bringing different animations to television, like, what's one thing that you guys are seeing for this younger generation that they might be sticking to more, that they're demanding?
Attention span being shorter. But at the same time, when they go deep, they love to go deep. So it's really an interesting dichotomy, because you think it's all TikTok, whatever that is. And it's very short attention span. But at the same time, especially once they get to middle school and high school, they love to go deep. And they're also used to like binge watching, if you think about it. So it's a weird dichotomy of, like, we all think they all have ADHD. But at the end of the day, they can go deeper than we ever could, and they're used to it, and they will just go down what we call the rabbit hole of content. And that can be educational. It can be whatever it is, as long as it's engaging them. So we think about those things. And it's not like we've cracked it, right? We try to understand both elements of that. And then a lot of, which is applicable for us, maybe, I'm sure in some ways applicable to what you guys are doing at Subject, but what we call shoulder programming. So a lot of accompanying programming to, like, if there's a main storyline, then in what other segments can you provide them accompanying content? Just because of the plethora, of availability of that. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Yes. Thank you.
Then how, it's super impressive what you do, by the way. It's really cool.
What you all do is more impressive.
Thank
But
you.
this is why I'm here, because I don't feel I'm impressive at all. So I gotta give back one way or the other.
Crapolopus, whatever. Come on.
Crapopolis. If you can say that, you get an award. Go ahead.
So I'm curious to know, like, how then can we learn from what you know when we're now teaching the next generation of students? Like, what is some advice from your perspective and your, you kind of have an outside view than what we're normally looking at? Like, what can we learn from you?
I think it's really about again, if I were to tell you the way to do it, which I don't dare for a second, but really think of everything you're doing as a story and give it a through line. So maybe, going deeper into what that means and how are you keeping your students engaged through different moments of that lesson, that semester, whatever it is, and making sure that which again, I think everyone has done it. It's just about adapting to the new forms that kids are used to. And again, one of the things that I'm proud of what Subject pitched me and what now they're absolutely doing is to make it with a quality and a standard that they really want to engage with. Because that matters. And I think it matters everywhere. Again, they are so used to seeing so much content and taking in so much information that's at least what I saw in my household. And yes, granted, we live here in Los Angeles, but like Apex was not cutting it. Like really, it was impossible and she's super smart, by the way, at Stanford now, the whole thing. But like, it just wasn't capturing their attention. So there had to be a better way. So it's really the marriage of storytelling as you go through and then bringing in technology and cinematography and elements that can just kind of, give you round out the story that you're telling. I hope that helps. Yeah.
So to kind of extend that question, in your industry, what are some of those soft skills that you're seeing from our students once they reach you?
Awesome
that
question.
You're missing, or you've seen that they're being successful?
I've been super blessed to hire a lot of much younger people than me. That's because I'm very old. But I think that their skills of being able to quickly discern is great, and collaboration is something that I find that a lot of younger people bring to the table, and they're kind of used to it, which I think, I hadn't thought about this until just now, is probably coming from the educational system of doing so much teamwork and collaboration in how kids are studying and doing joint projects, which was maybe less the norm before, and it's much more the norm now. So if you translate that up to what happens in the workforce, we're seeing that they know how to do that. They understand different points of view. They understand diverse points of view, and they lean into it, and they use that kind of language, which I would say some of my peers don't. So that's super interesting. What is missing? That's a more challenging one because we only hire the best. But resilience is probably the one skill. I don't know if that's a soft skill or a hard skill. You guys can educate me on that. But clearly missing, right? A lot of them are just used to having things go their way or being able to point to something else of why it didn't work out for them. And so that's, I think, something that's missing. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not being super controversial here. So far, so good. Go ahead.
The question I had was just as you work to crack the code to engagement, what have you stopped doing? Like, what are you no longer doing that you used to do?
to do. Just because I was an independent and an industry that was entrenched with major players, we've always been very collaborative. What I've found now is that everybody is doing that. So I think as an industry, it has stopped being as pedantic as it used to be. And I think that's clearly a good thing. For us in particular, that we stopped doing in looking for engagement, the best way to say this is it really is a two-way street of understanding the audience as opposed to thinking we're understanding the audience by doing a focus group. And technology gives you that ability to be able to actually in real time talk to people, assess how the content is doing, how ideas are flowing, and things like that. So utilizing just technological advances to really have a dialogue as opposed to feeling like we're having a dialogue because we're doing a focus group. You guys are an engaged crowd. I like it. Speaking of, so I'm doing a decent job, but I need more questions. Yeah.
How do you go about hooking students to the content now compared to how you did it, years ago? How is it different?
Multimedia is the thing that comes to mind. I think, there was maybe one format to do it before, and now they're just used to different and are expecting maybe a mix of visual effects with real life, with different camera angles. So I think keeping that fresh is important because the audience, you call it students, but they're expecting that, they're wanting that, and that maybe is leaning into some of this shorter attention span of keeping things kind of fast paced, but it's not just to shock the system, it's trying to tell a story around it. Which again, subject's a great tool, but even I would assume in the classroom, those things are also happening as opposed to just this. This doesn't work for me, like a lecture. We should be sitting in a round, and I'm sure but it's just true, right? This is archaic in a sense for me. Tip for next time. Yeah.
I read something depressing maybe a year or more ago, pretty recently, that said that the number one answer when elementary school students are asked what they want to be when they grow up evolved over the decades from, doctor, president of the United States, astronaut, and now it's famous. And I was going to ask...
I saw that in a classroom setting the other day, actually. It's really funny because I'm involved in a nonprofit here in LA, and I went to a school, and it was interesting. It said that, and a lot of them said, athlete, famous. But
famous. Influencer, YouTuber. Yeah. So famous, an adjective instead of, something. So I guess a lot of us get into education with the intention of making the world, contributing to society, making the world a little better than how we found it. And I wonder if you have any insights in terms of what you know about how students are triggered, how this generation is engaging with content, how we can engage them in content that might support a different aspiration.
This is where I feel this setting is really bad because the spotlight's on and I have no idea how to answer that one. Yes, it is depressing, and I do think that it's a societal problem. I can't say that it's a Hollywood problem or any social media platform or whatever it is. The genie's been let out of the bottle in so many different aspects. And it's hard. It's hard to really answer that and to see, except to hopefully have role models in those environments that are truly role models. And I think we do have some, and then we have a lot that are not. Choose your poison.
You mind if I add to that?
Please.
The guy on the sideline over here. One thing I would challenge you to do, or a suggestion in that scenario, is to ask them, okay, what does that mean? And then let them unravel and unpack what it actually means. You want to be famous, why? Well, it's people know me, or well, they make money, or okay, so you want money, and then you start to unpack that. But that's the way I've kind of worked it myself.
That's good. And I mean, knowing a lot of famous people, they're empty.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are empty souls. Not all. Again, I'm not generalizing. I am generalizing, but I'm not saying all of them. Not all of them are. No, not all of them are, but that is a potential path. It depends on the age of the student and who you're engaging, but maybe peeling that onion of saying, but for the purpose of what do you want to do that? Yeah, of course, it's the easy way out, and right now it makes you cool because you want to be popular because you're in 10th grade, whatever. Great. So I think that's a good idea to try to engage there. And I think there are a lot of examples, thankfully, of very famous people that have come out very vulnerably and saying, it ain't all hype and games. Like, I'm empty. I have mental health challenges, obviously abuse and stuff like that. Like, that's not a life that anyone should want. Thank you for that. That was great. I got to run soon, but I can take 2 more. I'd love to take 2 more if you have. No?
I'll say one more.
Yeah, go ahead. Or anything you want to hear from me. I don't.
Just can you talk about the importance of relationships in your business and even what we're doing? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, what we do, this is what I love my business. It's such a collaborative art form. Like, there is no sitting alone and painting a picture. We say, and it's an old saying, it takes a village to create any piece of content, and it does. And passing the baton from one department to the other and being able to make it all come to life is a beautiful thing. When it happens, and it actually happens to be great, and then the audience responds, it's almost miraculous. But yeah, it is very collaborative. So, by the way, for a lot of people that say they want to be famous, it also takes a village to make them famous, potentially, or for them to be part of that process. You don't just wake up one day and become Brad Pitt, whatever. He did.
You got me at 3 daughters. So my daughters are 3, and they are in their 20s. And I am a girl, you're a man. And so I'm great with my students, but daughters, not so much. I love life, but I always say the wrong thing. What would you offer me for my daughters in storytelling?
My goodness. I love being a girl dad. It is super challenging. So I have a 22-year-old who the subject team knows. She's done a podcast, and again, she was kind of a bit of the inspiration as she was doing Apex to there's something better for me to use, and she used it, and she crushed AP. She's a beautiful mind, but has had mental health challenges. So that's one, and then I have an 18-year-old and a 12-year-old. Each one of them have their challenges, and as storytelling goes, here's what I can tell you. The most beautiful moments is hearing them, some language I don't understand now, but sharing stories and reminiscing as to those moments when they watch things together, content together. And I love that. So I think making, whether it's books or whatever source of that, part of the family dynamics, and having that shareability is great. Again, obviously, you said your kid turned the 20s? Yeah. Depends on the relationships and all that, but I that's where I kind of hark back to, those are some of the most beautiful moments, and being able to try to bring it to wherever we can. Ideally, it would be a kitchen table dinner every night. That doesn't happen in today's world, unfortunately. But we find the moments, and we find the moments to talk about what are you watching, what are you reading. Even when I catch them, and sometimes my daughters are watching, they don't even have TV, but they find a way to watch a lot. And it's good. Again, obviously it's my job, so I want to keep the finger on the pulse of that a little bit, and it gives us that dialogue because they know what I do. So maybe it's unique in that way, but I think for you as a parent, that's one way to really engage with them. That's not a great answer. But I tried. Thank you. Yeah.
So, one of the things in education that I think we're all coming to realize is how important representation is for our learners. And so, being that you are a storyteller and you're doing it for a diverse audience, what is the best piece of advice you can give us in trying to create representation with a diverse population of students, whether it's culturally, whether it's their personal interest, or even their, just everything about them is different and nuanced. So how can we as educators provide them stories and present content or learning experiences that will engage them through representation, like through genuine representation?
Sure. I mean, I think you know the answer. It's give everyone a voice. And just as an educator, and in my job, what I do is make sure that those that maybe aren't speaking, ask them, because I'm sure they have something to contribute. And they're either being shy or they're just not comfortable in the environment. But making sure that you're modeling that behavior, at least that's what I try to do in my job, and making sure that everyone's voice, no matter what they want to say, is heard. And treated equally, like there is. But it's my own management style. I'm pretty proud of that, and the way that we've been able to do it, and the way I've coached the team. It's about diversities of points of view. Obviously, everyone brings their own biases to the table. It's not because of where you come from or the color of your skin or anything like that. It's just a point of view, and it's diverse, and that makes better storytelling. And I think, again, the world has mostly started to embrace that. Still challenging. Okay, I'm gonna have to run. Well, you guys enjoy sunny LA. We've done our best to provide it. It's all a hoax. It's all fake. And we'll provide the sunshine. But no, enjoy LA and welcome.